This is Limitless Disguise, and you're listening to This Freakin Show.
What's up, everybody? I am Travis, and welcome to another episode of This Freakin Show, the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. It is a weekly podcast that is brought to you by the Firepit Bar and Grill, Peotone, Illinois. If you're looking for a down-home country restaurant that offers you a burger and beer for just $7.99 every Monday and Wednesday, free bingo on Thursday, wings on Tuesday, and a band probably every so often it comes in from week to week, depending on who they can find. You gotta check out the Firepit Bar and Grill Peotone. You can find them at Facebook at Firepit Bar. We're also sponsored by wearedeputized.com, the high quality tie website where you can buy a tie for $15. A high quality tie at that for just $15. And then when you go to checkout, if you use the promo code FREAKIN, FREAKIN, you save on shipping. You could buy so many ties, save on shipping. And that is wearedeputized.com. I'm really excited tonight because we are continuing on with our cosplay series that we're doing here on This Freakin Show. It is the fourth cosplayer in the series. If you haven't had a chance yet, you go listen to the other cosplayers that we interviewed. Night Mage, Siren Ray, and Super Casey. They have all been on the show. Excited to get a few more on to kind of keep the series going. I've got a lot of feedback from you guys about having cosplayers on, being fans of cosplayers and stuff, so I'm doing this for you guys. And that's what this show's all about, is putting together a show for you guys to have fun listening to and everything. So if there is something that you guys feel that you want me to do, listen to, an idea for somebody you want me to interview, let me know. I'll reach out, I'll do the legwork, and I'll make sure that this show is something that you guys want to listen to for years to come, because this show hopefully will keep moving on, keep moving forward, day in and day out. Hopefully the show becomes weekly. I'm praying that I do get the guest lists and everything together to get people on and everything. I'm really excited. Like I said, for these Cosplay Series, I also have set up for next week interviewing somebody that I met through Facebook because of the keto diet. Her name is Jackie. She's going to be on the show next week to talk about the keto diet and everything like that, so I'm super excited to be doing that. So if you guys are a fan of the keto diet, I want to know more information about it, I'm going to have someone on to talk about next week, so make sure you tune into that as well. Not to pull too much time away from this, because I want to get into the interview with Rakeru. And you're going to hear a lot about me butchering the name in the interview, and I do apologize for that. I think I say it right every time, but I am open and honest towards the end of the interview where I say I don't want to butcher the name. So I definitely avoided saying the name for the whole process of the interview. But she also goes by Limitless Disguise Cosplay. So enjoy the interview. Okay, I am sitting here with Rakeru. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and I'm really excited I got your name right that time, even though you told me like multiple times and I kept getting it wrong.
It's okay.
But so since this is your first time being on the show, so thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. And real quick, you just want to give my listeners a little background on exactly who you are?
Okay, so I'm Limitless Disguise Cosplay. I've been cosplaying, I guess, more seriously since like 2011. I've kind of always done cosplay. I just didn't really know what it was, like back in like maybe 2003, 2004. I kind of just had my mom buy me like anime costumes off eBay, and I would dress up, and I thought it was cool. And then I went to my first anime convention, and I was like, whoa. So I started making my own, and I continue to make my own now. And every now and then I do competitions, and I love it. So
Awesome. So what was the thing that kind of got you like started out into it? Like what kind of made you have a fascination for cosplaying?
I've always liked dressing up. I've kind of always done it. I've liked doing stuff like that. And then when I went to my first one, it was just really exciting to have people be like, "Oh my god, I like your cosplay." And then I was just it made me super excited, and it's also a great confidence booster to just have people compliment you on something that you've worked hard on. So I kept doing it, and like the more work I put into it, I can, even as frustrating as it can be sometimes, it can be very rewarding.
Okay. And I did have a chance to kind of like look through your Facebook and look at some of the costumes you made, which you've made so many costumes, and all of them are awesome. I have noticed that a lot of them are more, I guess, just in my opinion, they look like they're more relatable to animation or anime, as you mentioned, over like kind of like Avengers or like DC comics and stuff like that. What was the reason with the preference towards anime than it is for like let's say anything else?
I'm really into anime. There's a lot of characters that I can choose from. Obviously, with anime, there's so many cool costumes and everything. I do some DC stuff. I actually have a reveal that I'm putting out today of a character that I'm working on that is from
Mhm.
DC. Aside from Harley, of course, and I do plan to do like Batgirl at some point. Um, but I don't know. Anime, I've always loved anime for such a long time as well, and just being able to be a character that I also really love is just really fun.
Okay. Well, maybe you can kind of tell me just on your own opinion, what is the fascination with Harley Quinn being like one of these major uh cosplay characters? Because I see like a lot of the cosplayers that I've talked to or I've seen through social media and stuff, like the biggest ones that they do is like Harley Quinn or gender bending Deadpool and stuff like that. Like what is it more? I don't want to say like so much like dark characters, but I guess technically I've noticed more dark characters being cosplayed than anything. But what is the fascination with Harley Quinn, and why do so many people, in your opinion, do Harley Quinn cosplay?
I think a lot of people do Harley Quinn because she's fun, she's quirky, she's obviously crazy, and a lot of people seem to like crazy nowadays. So, I like her just because I actually like who she really is. She is crazy and quirky, but she has her own troubles that that she's obviously gone through and everything. Especially, if you read the comics with her not being with Joker anymore and her kind of breaking free from that. A lot of people do it, I think, because she's very iconic. So maybe doing it even for like a popularity thing. Um, I'm not really sure. Everyone obviously has their own choice for it,
Mhm.
but she's one of the most iconic and well-known characters that would probably is more easier to cosplay as well.
Okay. You did mention, the whole craziness and how people can relate to it and everything. Do you find yourself choosing cosplays that you could in some way relate to? Or is it kind of just a random, like you see a character, you think, you know what, I can make a costume like that, I'm going to go for it? Or is there like, is there a reason of the people you choose to cosplay? Or is it just kind of just a random thing?
Most of them I choose because I'm drawn to the character. A lot of the characters that I cosplay are similar in like personality. Like Urza Scarlet and Tamari, they're very strong characters. And I can relate to them a lot in a sort of ways, and I just like their type of personality and how they are, and I like being a character that I can easily portray in a way.
Mhm.
Super happy, bubbly characters is a little more hard for me sometimes, but sometimes it's easy. It just depends on my mood. For someone who's crazy or like Harley, or even someone who's like Himiko, is really easy to do because I feel like I can kind of be more myself with
Mhm.
them. Um, so that's kind of what I go for. Sometimes I'll be like, that's a really cool outfit. I really want to do it, and then I'll wind up doing it anyways. So
Okay. If you had to guess, how many costumes do you think have you created since you started?
oh boy. Okay. Maybe 10 plus.
Okay, so it's not like you're making like a costume like every single month and stuff like that, and it's like you find one that you really put a lot of work into, and you're like kind of committed to God to utilizing those multiple times, or?
Yeah, I will definitely use them multiple times. I always try to have maybe something new um, every other con if I'm able to, just, with time and everything,
Mhm.
and since I work full time, it's a lot harder to do as much as I would really like to do. But I do put a lot of time and effort into all of my cosplays. Like, I know Ymir from Queensblade, which I spent 6 years on. Not that I wanted to, but it was something I started off with, like when I first started out. And then it was a really big project because I made everything, including the patterns and everything for it. So I would set it aside and then work on something else, and then I'd come back to it, and then I'd work on it some more. So sometimes I can find myself working on something and then setting it aside if I get mad at it, and then I'll come back to it and work on it some more because for me, I want my cosplays to be as perfect and as true as possible.
Okay, and how long do you think on average it takes you to actually like put together like the full costume? Is it kind of based on the deadline you need it for, or could it be like this kind of costume that could take up to like a month or so to do, or can you get put some together to make it perfect in like a week or so?
It depends on the character. Like if it's something that's pretty simple, I'm able to do it pretty quick. Like right now I'm working on Raven. Raven's going to be pretty simple. I'm just waiting for some molds to come in so that I can resin cast her gems and stuff like that. That one I could this one, it would, if I didn't count all the space in between, it would just be like a couple weeks. But I can take up to a month or more depending on what type of cosplay it is.
Okay. The big question that I like to kind of ask all the cosplayers that come on the show that I think is probably the worst question you could even ask a cosplayer. But which one have you made so far in your cosplaying career that you would say is your favorite?
Yeah, that is a hard that is a hard one. Um as of right now, I don't know. I still always really lean towards Tamari. I really like her even though she was an earlier one that I made. I just I really like how it came out. I really like being the character. Um, Either her or probably Urza. Even though I haven't done all of her costumes yet, I plan to do more, and I really like being that character.
Okay. Do you think you kind of center more towards like the female characters, or do you partake in like the gender bending cosplaying and stuff as well? I'm not too familiar with anime, and so I'm not really sure like every single character that has been cosplayed or stuff like that. But I do know like when it comes to like Super Casey, Siren Ray, and stuff like that, a little bit of Night Mage. They do talk about how a lot of their characters could be considered gender bending and stuff like that. So do you find yourself doing a lot of gender bending, or do you kind of focus on like the female characters that you cosplay?
I have done gender bending before. Like, I did cosplay Sting from Fairy Tale, and he's obviously male. He's one of the only other males that I've really done, except for Sasuke, which I don't really wear too often. I do plan to gender bend Sasuke
Mhm.
into a female, so I do lean more towards the females.
Okay, that's cool. So now, obviously you live in the Midwest like I do.
Mm-hmm.
How is traveling to like conventions for you? Like, do you find yourself like traveling, like kind of far, like throughout the country or stuff like that, or do you kind of stay local to where you're at?
I usually try to stay local just because traveling is pretty can be difficult, at least right now with having a full time job.
Hmm.
I have pets and stuff like that. The furthest that I go probably is Indianapolis, which I will be heading to A Cross here in like 2 weeks. So that's probably as far as I go for now. I would love to go further if I can.
All right. Do you ever go to C2E2 in Chicago?
No, I've never been, but I would like to go. I would like to go to ASUN as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, C2E2 is probably well. I've only been to two conventions in my life, and one was C2E2 in Chicago, which is right at my back door, and the other one was Indie PopCon down in Indy,
Oh,
which was
I've been
also
there.
yeah. So it was pretty fun. I was there. probably 2016, I think.
Mhm.
So it's been a while since I've been to a convention and everything, but it's kind of like how you said, like, it's really hard to, to travel a lot when you're working full time. Um,
Mhm.
so what if you had to, like, if you had a dream convention or something to go to, like the one that you definitely want to, make a priority to make one day in your career, do you have one like in mind?
I would really like to go to ASEN. I know it doesn't seem like it's too far away. I know it's a really big convention. Obviously, it's a little more expensive. Getting there sometime is a little bit harder for me because I don't know a lot of people that go. So, but that's probably one that I would really like to go to. And if I ever could, maybe San Diego Comic Con.
Okay, yeah, I've heard a lot about San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the conventions that you actually that you have been to, like either in the last year or since you started going to conventions and stuff like that?
I'm definitely you. Anime Crossroads is one of them. Colossal Con, of course. Youmacon are some of the bigger ones that I've gone to. Um, I've gone to Indie PopCon. I'm trying to think. I've been to Midwest Media Expo when it was still going on. Ramen Con. I've been to Ramen Con before. There's a couple other ones that I've been to. I don't go to them every year. The ones that I normally attend every year for sure is Colossal Con and Youmacon.
Okay, okay. And where exactly is the background or backstory, I guess, would be to the name that you go by for cosplaying?
Okay. I didn't know what to use for a name, to be
Hmm.
honest. The name that I had chosen was for just because I was like, hey, I do a lot of cosplays and it it's kind of a limitless thing that you can do, and they're kind of like a disguise, so I thought Limitless Disguise was kind of a cool name. Sometimes I think it's really lame, but everyone's like, no, I think it's super cool, and I'm like, are you sure? Maybe I should change it. So
No, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's an awesome cosplaying name, but at the same time, like, it's also, it's not just like a name, but I mean, it's like a franchise or like a company in itself and stuff. So like when
yeah.
people sit there and they think like Limitless Disguise Cosplay is not only a person, it's like an entity.
Yes.
So I mean, and it's a pretty cool name. I mean, like, and it's one of the things that like it it's pretty much self-explanatory, I guess. Like when you want to look at it.
Hmm.
That's cool. So what are the conventions that you have lined up for 2019?
As of right now, other than the three that I mentioned, which was Across, Colossal Con, and Youmacon. I don't know if I'm gonna squeeze in a couple more here and there. I'm not sure
Mhm.
yet. I haven't really checked to see what I would be able to make it to in my schedule. I would like to do more if I can squeeze a couple more in though.
Okay, I got you. So with these cosplaying characters that you develop and create costumes for and everything like that, um, the word that I'm thinking of completely escapes my mind. But I guess the best way to do it is just describe what I'm trying to say. Um, as I talk out loud to myself too. So so when you go to these conventions and everything and you're dressed in these characters, uh do you just are you just there as the Limitless Disguise cosplayer, just dressed up, walking around, meeting and greeting with people, or do you find yourself like actually like playing the character that you're dressed as?
um, I could say both. Like, there's a lot of times like I'm just me, and sometimes if I'm just hanging out, like I have the resting face problem, if you will. So sometimes I'm just like hanging out by myself, and I've had people that are like, "Are you mad?" And I'm like, "No, I'm like, I'm totally fine. This is literally just my face." Which actually works for a lot of characters that I cosplay, so it does work out in the end.
Hmm.
But like if I'm doing photo shoots or anything like that, or maybe interacting with a character from the same show, I'll, kind of get in the character a little bit, which can be really fun. But most of the time I'm just me, and I'm obviously trying to have a good time and meet any new people that I can.
Okay. Do you go to more conventions as like setting up a booth and all that stuff, or do you try to go to them more as just a fan being there?
I'm more of like a fan being there. There's only one that I normally have like a booth at, which is a small convention here called WashiCon, which I guest at. So obviously I have a booth there. But if I were to be at a convention, I would, if I was a guest or something, I would have a booth. But normally I just go, I hang out, see my friends, and just have a good time because it's more like a vacation for me.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I notice a lot of times when I guess just kind of depends on the person when going to C2E2 is you get like the I don't know how to describe them, but I guess like just I guess just regular people like when they dress up and stuff and go to these conventions and stuff. They have a costume together, which I mean, it's awesome that they created themselves because I mean, if you could create something by hand for your own, by your own hands, it's definitely pride for doing so. But I mean, you can definitely tell the difference between people who take cosplaying seriously and people who do it just as like an activity.
Right.
Like when it comes to like I said, I never met you in person, but I'm assuming like from pictures, everything you've done has been incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, between your costume, Super Casey, Oh My Sophie, Night Mage, and all them, Siren Ray, I don't want to leave her out. That'd be rude. Uh, you guys put a lot of work into your costumes. I mean, so
Mhm.
like, I mean, I sit here and like when I look at you guys, like I see you guys as like the pinnacle of what cosplaying is, compared to like, like some of the guys that I see like who dress like Ghostbusters and their pack on them is made out of like cardboard boxes painted
Yeah.
silver.
Yeah.
So I mean, I put them at like amateur kind of levels and stuff like that. But it's really cool. Like when you sit here and think, like, I mean, even though like you get people like that who could put like who just throw a costume together for like a weekend and stuff like that without, they take pride in it, but not really as much work as you guys do it, and the fact that you're able to create something that great in such like a short period of time. Even like when you said like it takes you a bit to create it, but it's not like you're working on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 days out
Hmm.
of the month. You take your free time that you have from working full time to create these things, and I mean it's incredible. It's something that I wish I would do, but I know that I would never do something like that because I don't have the will to create something. Like even when it comes to like Halloween and I have to decorate, or I'm not decorate myself, dress myself, I guess, for a costume. I throw a denim jacket on and a cowboy hat, call myself Toby Keith, and I'm done. So the fact that you guys put all this work into it is absolutely incredible, and that's why I love talking to cosplayers, such as yourself and everyone else that I mentioned, because it gives me a sense that like it's like a motivation to want to do more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I mean, I like doing it too because I'm like, wow, I actually made this. It's because even though sometimes it's frustrating to do and it may not always work out as we're making it, but when we're done and you look at the final product and you're finally like, it's done, it looks really good, and then especially when people are like, wow, you know where did you get that or whatever, and you're like, well, I made it.
Hmm.
So it's a really good feeling for that. And even when I sometimes do enter competitions, um it's also a really good feeling to either win or have, people compliment you on, all the hard work that you've done.
Yeah, and as you mentioned with winning and everything, looking at your Facebook, I noticed that you have won like a lot of awards over the last 6 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you had to, and again, this is probably another bad question to ask, but if you had to pick one of these awards that you have won throughout the years that you felt like was like the most like awarding, or that you were like the happiest to win out of all of them, would there be one you'd be able to pick?
Yeah, it would probably be the one I won at Dokido, which I forgot about. I'll probably be going to that again this year as well. I competed in the masters department for Ymir from Queensblade, which is the one that I spent a really long time on. And during the course of making it, like I grew as a cosplayer and a creator. I'm really proud of it because I put so much time into it, and I was like, like when I enter, I don't think I'm gonna win because like I see a lot of great people who enter and they have such really great stuff, and I'm like, there's no way. But if I did win and I was like, wow, oh my god, I actually all this hard work paid off because I did win, and it was really good. It was a really good feeling.
That's cool. Yeah, I can honestly say I never really won anything like this before. Um, Maybe one day I'll win a podcast award if I could ever enunciate properly, or you know, maybe one day. But so when it comes to your costumes that you make, do you try to like limit yourself to like a certain cost per costume, or it kind of just whatever it costs to make, it costs to make?
Sometimes I try to limit myself just because, being an adult, we have to adult first before we
Hmm.
can do the fun stuff. Sometimes that's why it takes me sometimes a little bit longer to do things because I'm waiting to be like, okay, well, I can get this much now, and I'll be like, okay, well, then I can get this much later. So sometimes I'll put things off a little bit longer because I'm collecting all the supplies that I need. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, well, I can get this instead of
Hmm.
maybe using Warbla or something. I'll just use EVA foam instead of going for Warbla. So I do cut myself back sometimes just because of cosplay is obviously a very expensive hobby.
Yeah. No, I listening to like Night Mage and stuff like that, like the way he describes like the hundred and some odd costumes that he has, it blows my mind. It's like first off, I wish I had money to do stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
if I didn't have a mortgage, I'd probably have a lot more nicer things. But
same. I feel the same.
right, exactly. So real quick before we kind of like finish up and say our goodbyes, and you start plugging all your social media stuff, I have one real quick question, and it kind of became a theme on my cosplaying interviews and stuff. Have you ever heard of a movie called Princess Bride?
Yes.
Do you like that movie?
I think I've seen it once a long time ago when I was a kid, so I don't really remember, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Because I've been yelled at by every cosplayer I've interviewed because I don't like it.
I, people have asked me that before, and I'm like, I don't really remember much about the movie, so it's not one that I'm like, oh, I gotta see this movie or anything like that. So I guess
Yeah,
I'm with you in this one.
I'm happy you are, and I pray that Super Casey hears this because
She'll probably yell at me too.
she has given me the most grief out of everyone for it. Um, like I mean, like I because like it came up in conversation like I think the first time she came on the show, which she came on the show for the first time in like the beginning of 2016, somewhere around April or May. So it's been about almost 3 years now, where she still has yet to forgive me on the fact that I do not like the Princess Bride, and I
Oh,
and at first I didn't watch it. I just knew it was a crappy movie, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I sat down after I recorded the show with her, went downstairs, turned on Amazon Prime. I watched it, and for like 2.5 hours or whatever long this movie was like the biggest waste of my life. I mean, like it was watching like a dumpster fire. And I told her this because I was going to be completely honest with her, and she still has yet to just be okay with that. Because I mean, apparently, I don't know how well you know Super Casey,
yeah,
but
she's a friend. Yeah, she'll probably once she finds out, she'll probably let me have it too.
yeah. Yeah, well, she was big on calling me a dick butt. I don't know
Oh
if
no.
yeah, like so I don't know if you ever heard her say that, but apparently that was a huge thing she was doing. So yeah, so for the next 3 years, I'm the dick butt who doesn't like Princess Bride. So, but I'm glad.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't remember it, so I can't comment. So I won't make you feel bad if you don't like it.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad, and it makes sense how you don't remember it because it's not memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, and I hope Super Casey hears all this, and I'm hoping the next time she does come on, I could hear her whine about it again. But no, I do like Super Casey. She's pretty cool. I can't wait to see her at C2E2, which I hope you should like put maybe try to make it out here because it would be pretty awesome if we all got together
Oh
and I could
yes.
Yeah, because like I was kind of telling Super Casey and like everyone else, like all these, like everyone from the cosplay series that I'm working on right now, I want to hopefully meet up at one convention that you all go to, and we can all sit down and do like a roundtable thing.
Yeah, that would
So,
be really fun.
yeah, and normally I talk about this off like the recording and stuff. I'm gonna put it in here to kind of put pressure on you to do it, uh,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Because that's what a good host does. Oh man. But real quick before we say our goodbyes, where can my listeners find you on social media?
They can definitely find me on Facebook under Limitless Disguise. They can find me on Instagram, which is limitless.disguise. Those are my two big social media platforms that you can find me at. And I do have a Patreon as well, which is also Limitless Disguise. So check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm actually looking at Facebook right now, and just out of curiosity, what is Umbra Vulpes Photography?
Oh, Umbra Vulp's photography. That's me pretending to be a photographer. So
Oh,
sometimes yeah, sometimes I take photos of other cosplayers because it's also fun. And I'm like, oh, why not, push myself out there. I don't do it as a full-time thing. In no way am I a professional. But as a cosplayer, I know what people like for to have as a photography. So
mhm.
it can be helpful to do. I mostly do it for friends. Sometimes I'll open up slots for other people, but that's kind of what that little side thing is.
I got you. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the Facebook right now. I gotta say, there are actually some pretty good photos.
Thank you.
You do a really good job. You're
Thank
really
you.
selling yourself short on your photography skills here.
Oh,
And let's see who the guy with the hand on his the fire coming off his hands on the Facebook cover.
oh, that Natsu Dragneel, yeah.
The what?
His name is his the character is Natsu Dragneel from Fairy Tail.
Oh, I thought that was Kadukin from Street Fighter. Mm. Well, see, I know nothing about anime. I feel really bad that I'm not kind of knowledgeable on that. But the photos look amazing. So
Thank you.
you definitely have a talent on that. So definitely don't sell you short when it comes to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. But no, I do appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Um, I've been really avoiding saying your name again in hopes not to screw it up again. But I'm gonna try one more time. So, Rakeru,
Yes.
yay! Yes, good. And on a high note, yeah. So Rakeru, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you
Um,
so much for having me. It's been really fun.
absolutely, you don't gotta lie to me. It's okay.
No, I'm really I really mean it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like I said, guys, if you enjoy my interview with Rakeru. Like I said, she is the fourth cosplayer of the cosplaying series that I'm doing on this show. So make sure you follow her on social media. You know, check her out. See what convention she's going to, possibly in your area that you can meet her at, as well as Super Casey, Siren Ray, and Night Mage and stuff like that. So definitely really happy that she came on the show, took time out to do that. Really cool. Very happy I got a chance to sit down and talk with her. And hopefully, I get her back on the show again in the future. Um, not a whole lot going on. It has been quite the last week or so for me, podcasting related. Put out the show with Super Casey last week. Make sure you check that out. Also, Just Freakin Wrestling put out a show for the Royal Rumble and stuff like that, and we talked a little bit about wrestling because that's what that podcast is about. Wrestling fan, go check that out. JFW podcast, Just Freakin Wrestling. It's out there. I host that with Dizzle J. That show definitely isn't every week, but we definitely do our best to make sure that happens. So go ahead and check that out. And as we end the show here, let me tell you about what I'm freaking thinking about. And honestly, right now, it's all about the keto diet. Like I said, I do have Jackie coming on next week, who has a lot of knowledge on the keto diet and everything. So I'm really excited to talk to her and everything. We did do a Q&A with some fans and everything. So hopefully we get a lot of those questions coming in from them so I can ask her and hopefully, put together a great show. Like I said, that I do for you guys every single week. As I mentioned, make sure you guys, interact with me on the show. Let me know what you want to, you want to hear me do, what we want to talk about. The Oscars are coming up within the next month. I know in the past, with having 3 guests or 3 hosts and stuff for the show, we did do a competition for Oscar predictions and stuff like that. I'm going to try to see if I get someone on to do kind of a contest with me or a little competition with me. If not, I'm going to do my own predictions. Let you guys know where my mind's at for the upcoming Oscar wins and everything. I won every single year, so if there's no competition, I'm going to win again because it's just me, which I'm totally fine with. But make sure that you do follow me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at This Freakin Show. If you guys know of a friend who may have interest in the show and want to give it a listen, we are available on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, Spotify, and Stitcher. All you gotta do is search This Freakin Show. If you go to Chrome or Firefox, whatever the hell your search engine is, type in This Freakin Show. You're gonna find our website, you're gonna find our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook, our Podbean. Everywhere that you can find us is right there. Make sure you check it out. And as always, I am Travesty, and thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin Show. I'm out.